Welcome to episode 18 of the Leeds Rhinos Podcast. It's a Thursday, so it's our Q&A edition. If you listen to this on your way over to Salford to support the boys, hopefully we'll get a good result tonight. And we're back in on Monday with our match review of the game after that, and hopefully celebrating another victory for the boys. Delighted to welcome Mark Butterill, celebrating 10 years connection with the Rhinos this year. He's the head of rugby league at Leeds Beckett University and also our scholarship head coach here at the Rhinos. And we're going to hear a bit more about Mark's dual role there with student rugby league, but also the player development of our young players, the stars of the future here at the Rhinos a bit later on. And we'll also have your questions that we'll put some of them to Mark that you've kindly sent through to put through, but also some other general ones around the club. So we'll hear some answers from those as well. Mark, great to have you on the show. In terms of, let's start with Leeds Beckett University, a fantastic season for the student side. They went unbeaten all season, won league leaders and won the grand final. Got to the big prize once again. A great season.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic, and so much hard work has gone into the last 18 months, and that's kind of a culmination of what's been rolled out this year. To go undefeated is a testimony to the program, to the staff, to everybody. Really, it's a collective, and it's been great to be a part of.
And it's a mixture of undergrads and postgrads in there as well, so there's a good mix of ages in the team.
Yeah, there is not too many postgrads. I think there's three really across the board. A lot of first years in there as well, and that was something that I kind of looked at last year. We did lose a lot of players. When Jamie did that year. That transitional year, we lost a lot of players, lost a lot of experience, and went out and recruited really, really strongly. We've got a lot of hungry young players in, and obviously, this year that culmination's been absolutely fantastic to go undefeated.
And it's a strong partnership between the club and Leeds Beckett University. I know Pete McCraft down there does a fantastic job around that whole Carnegie School of Sport. In terms of kids who are sort of thinking about university decisions, we're heading towards exam season now, thinking about their next choice. It's great, isn't it, that those who think I could take my rugby league to the next level, there's an option to continue education, but also getting expert coaching whilst being in a student team.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we're starting to get things back on track now from a rugby league perspective in the programme. But like I say, that's taken us a good 18 months really to get where we are. But if anyone has aspirations, not everybody's going to go through the scholarship kind of pathway and the academy pathway. Some might get released from the academy pathway, thinking about higher education, coming into our programme. That could, provide opportunities for them to kind of extend the playing career, whether that's just at Leeds Beckett at a good standard of football, or whether that's back into the reserves. This year we've been really lucky that we've had 11 players signed reserve contracts for Super League clubs and stuff, and that's testimony to the strength of the programme, but the attitude of the players as well.
Yeah, just looking there, the team, our reserves are playing against Bradford. We've got two lads from Leeds Beckett playing for the Bulls, Ben Grindley-Roberts and Josh Kerr. It shows that the pathway through student rugby league can be a link to the professional game.
Most definitely, and that's probably one of the first questions I get asked now when people are wanting to come to Leeds Beckett. It's what kind of pathways do you offer from a rugby league perspective? And first and foremost, it's about education. It's making sure that they come for the right reasons. But ultimately, we can offer the right people, providing they've got the right attributes and the right skill set and the mindsets. Those pathways across, through relationships at other Super League and Championship clubs as well.
And are you seeing that talent come through? I mean, obviously Leeds Beckett, you've talked about 11 have gone and got reserve contracts at professional clubs, but the opposition and things, are you seeing talent beginning to emerge from the student game?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's BUCS over the last couple of years have kind of identified that the rugby league programme needs to grow, and to do that, they're putting minimum operating standards and things like that across the board for all teams. So there's certain standards and criteria that all universities now need to kind of work towards fulfilling. Obviously, that helps grow the game, make it stronger, make the competition stronger across the board. But I've been impressed with some of the talent. I mean, I've only been doing it 18 months, and I've been really impressed with the talent in the student game. There's some really hungry big, strong, quick athletes in there that probably just need a little bit more time to mature, and some of them probably not had the coaching experiences that they're getting at this moment in time through no fault of their own. So if we can help grow, support that, and let's not forget we've got a second team as well that a lot of them guys want to play socially as well, and that's a big part of it as well, getting the balance right. It's not all just elite working towards this. There's a group of lads in there that want to play rugby, want to train, want to go for a beer after and experience that student life as well. So we've got to get the balance right.
Yeah, that's certainly when it comes to students, you've got to get that balance right. And in terms of presumably even wider than that, maybe guys who aren't from the rugby league heartlands, rugby union, played it and always maybe watched rugby league on telly and always fancy giving it a go. Presumably there's a bridge there that they can come and get expert coaching and learn the game of rugby league.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We've got a lad who played for Scotland under 21s at rugby union and probably wasn't enjoying his first year playing, rugby union at Leeds Beckett and wanted to try rugby league. And obviously he's played something like 15 games now, and he's in and amongst the cusp of being in the first team with Wakefield, such as his development really. So there's loads of stories like that, and I'm pretty sure there'll be quite a lot emerge over the next couple of years. Or that's the plan anyway. So
brilliant stuff. You've mentioned about winning the grand final. There's another big game on the horizon as well, the varsity game here at AMT Headingley. Are you looking forward to that one?
Oh yeah, looking forward to it. Last year was a great occasion. It was a drawn game against Leeds Uni, but the occasion, the spectacle, and the drama of the game, going into that, last couple of minutes, both going for drop goals, both getting charge downs and stuff. I just think, the drama of it was absolutely fantastic, and it sets us up nicely this year. Done a lot of work across both universities to kind of sell and push this, and it's something that we need to grow, as the years go on.
And it's great for us here at the Rhinos to have an event like this, that the students come and celebrate their year. They've had a successful year, but to do it in a stadium right in the middle of student heartland is really good.
Oh, it is brilliant. And like I say, we have a great relationship, outside of my role with the Rhinos. All the players are big Rhinos fans. When we came the other week to do the halftime, talk and things, it was great. They were so excited, and they're really passionate, and even though the southern, they come from all over the place, a lot of them have a great affinity with Leeds Rhinos, and that's ultimately what we're trying to build and grow as the years go on.
That's brilliant stuff. We'll go to a couple of questions we've had in. Thanks to everyone who's responded on social media and on email. We got a question in from Omo. You know well. You've seen it, plenty of his comments. You think you may even coach him potentially at some point. Yes. So he's got two questions. The first one, I think it's a bit tongue-in-cheek because he put a smiling emoji at the end of it. When are you bringing me on board? And how much goes into coaching the mindset and mentality needed as a rugby league player into young lads, preparing them for the next stage in their careers? I mean, that mentality side of things, we've heard about it. Ryan Hall recently did Box 2, and he talked about that mentality he had from a very early age because he was surrounded by leaders within that dressing room. That mentality is cool. I mean, Daly Badiris always talks about attitude is not ability is not enough. That mental approach to it is important. Most
definitely, and how we help the players and support the players develop the mind as well as the hands is equally important. I think, really, to be fair, we do a lot of education sessions, as you well know, because you participate in some of them in and around dealing with social media, dealing with getting that school life balance. You think about the age that I coach, that it's an important period for the 16s now because they've got their exams coming up. And then you throw into all the things about being a young professional athlete, about, non-selection, injuries, etc. So we do a lot of work and we invest a lot of time and energy into that because it's like Danny and Ryan have said, it's a massive part of being an elite athlete is the mind and how you control it. And there's a lot of pitfalls out there, not only from a social media perspective, but just in life in general for a young man. And we try to help and support and navigate them through that, as well as working towards being a first team or an elite athlete, as we like to call them.
Yeah, what I really appreciated when you asked me to come down and speak to the guys about social media and just talking around things, pitfalls that they need to avoid, was really good. That after we spoke to them, they went out to train, and I spoke with the parents as well. Because I think it's if you think for a 15, 16-year-old teenager, life's hard enough anyway. You know, there's all sorts of things going on. You learn your place in the world, but to put the emphasis on being a professional athlete as well onto that, you know, they can't do the things that their mates are doing, and you know, there's a lot of sacrifice there that, you know, when you're actually finding your place in the world can be a tough time. And I think it's, you know, I think it's credit to you guys that you get the parents involved and they buy into it as well.
Yeah, I think it's important getting the parents. We do a lot of follow-up, so we kind of run the same session, you know, whether it's nutrition education, psychology, or, you know, the pitfalls of social media and drug awareness and things like that. We roll the same session out for the players, you know, for the first half an hour. Then they go to train, and then the parents come in, because ultimately, you know, we're with them 4 or 5 hours a week, and you know, it's, you know, you can't control that narrative. But the parents, if they have a good understanding of all those areas, they can kind of be in control 24/7. And you know, players all come from different backgrounds. Some are lucky enough to have a mum and a dad. Some just have a mum, and you know, they can kind of get overawed by it all a little bit. But as a club and as a programme, we're there to help support and guide them along that journey, really, to be fair. And you know, I'm proud that we do that as a club, and I'm proud that we do that as a programme as well. I think it's really good.
I think it's really noticeable as well. It's not just a big stick saying, don't do this, don't do that. You know, there's like, what can you do? He's how to use this opportunity you've got, how to make the most of it. I thought it was really interesting this year. Riley Lum, who of course has really smashed it into the first team this year and really made a name for himself. Riley came and spoke to him, and he's a pretty quiet guy, Riley. He's not short of a word to say, but he's not a gregarious sort of character, but he spoke to the guys, and he was someone who came late to the professional game, wasn't he? He was picked up late on, and you know, his journey and inspiring those guys, it was really good. As a, you know, you could put up an England international like a Ryan Hall, but it's probably a bit too aspirational when you're 15. But actually seeing Riley come in and play in the first team this year and grab the chance.
Yeah, and I think that goes a long way towards tapping into the psyche of the players. They're relating to someone that's of a not too dissimilar age, that's been on the same journey, in the same pathway, and had some of those ups and downs. But to see him out playing with the first team and playing with such confidence is great, and it's great for our young players to see people like Riley going out there, and you know, Alfie Edgill and Tom Nicholson-Watton and things, all those guys that have, you know, been in the pathway, but that are similar at an age that they can relate to. I think it's key, because you can just show them examples. What this is what can happen if you this and this, you know. Yeah. So it's good.
We'll go to our next question we've had, and this one came on X from John Hodgson. John sent us a few questions. We picked this one out. Does Mark have aspirations to coach reserves or first grade in the future? He seems to be doing a great job for years, but has never got promoted to the first team squad. Right. Well, it's a tough one there. But I mean, you mentioned 10 years you've been at the club. Presumably you've racked up a lot of experiences over that time.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, we've gone through a few coaches during my time. You know, Brian Mack was the first one. Learned so much off Brian, and you know, I still, you know, tap into some of the stuff that he did back in the day. And then we went through Dave to Rich and obviously Rowan and stuff, all bring different things to the table. And again, you know, you like as a coach, you're kind of a bit of a thief, really, aren't you? You just grabbing little bits and pieces that you think will suit your players and your programme. Aspirations, yeah, 100% I have aspirations, but you know, I've just kind of got to bide my time at this moment in time and just see where things take me. Really enjoying what I'm doing at this moment in time, really passionate about it. Just come off a good season with Leeds Beckett, and I believe that, you know, that programme is only going to get better, and the scholarship have started really strongly this year. And there's plenty of work to do, both individually and collectively, in that programme. So that kind of takes all my time up, really, to be fair. I don't really think about the long game. I'm just kind of thinking about the process. I'm pretty sure my time will come at some point, but when that'll be, I don't know.
Presumably there must be a great deal of job satisfaction when, you know, John and Simon are out spotting players and our scouting networks bringing players, and then you get given them in that under 15 at scholarship, and you really get to mould them into the players. And when they actually go on, whether that's with the Rhinos, or I know we've got a proud record of players who don't make it to our first grade but actually continue in the game, in the professional game, because the foundations that you guys have laid. Yeah,
definitely. I think, you know, you're the first point of call when they come into the building, so it's important that you've got that calming influence, that fatherly figure, I think, really, to be fair. touching base that, some lads they come from different backgrounds, don't really have a fatherly figure in their life. So it's important that, you're kind of there to kind of help and support them, not just from a rugby perspective. A lot of it's around life and navigating through life. That'll go a long way towards you, getting to where you need to be professionally. But it's just about finding the balance and giving them the tools to be able to kind of deal with being a young professional athlete at that bottom level. I mean, we just give them the building blocks in the scholarship program 2 days a week. We just focus on what's really important in moving them to the next level. And obviously, when they get into the academy, there's more exposure, more time to them. And then hopefully 1 or 2 can drop into the first team as well. And it's just building that exposure and that repetitive, mindset into them, really.
And I know you'd obviously pay credit to the community game. You came from there as a coach. The players that the community game right across the sport continues to produce. It's without those volunteers and the parents on the sideline, we just wouldn't have a game, would we?
No, and I think back to my time when I first started as a community coach. There was no real social media out there, no real coach education. I mean, you look everywhere now, and everyone's got an opinion, and it's everywhere. But I'm really proud of Darren and the foundation and the work they do in the community. That fills me with pride as well, because coming from that background and getting to be in a position like this is through a lot of hard work. And people go, oh, you've not played for Leeds, or you've not, but again, I've worked really hard to get where I am. No one's given me a leg up, or no one's given me a back door. I'm kind of here on merit, and I'll continue to do that. But that's, as a community coach, I think it's important as a club we continue to develop our coaches, because that goes a long way towards making my job a little bit easier and everybody else's when they come into that professional environment. Yeah,
no, I'm glad you mentioned Darren there. Great shout out to those guys. The Rhinos Talent Pathway that's been on a Monday evening for the lads, and it's a great pathway. If you've not heard anything about it, have a look on the online to get more details about it. My son's taking part in the moment, and it's just brilliant because it's great for lads who haven't signed on with scholarship but fancy working with different players from different clubs and different coaches, and you really see the players developing, but also the coaches, because they're volunteering, and oftentimes you end up coaching a team because your lads in the team and things like that. But these guys are volunteering their time just to become better coaches for themselves, and that real investing in themselves as coaches is brilliant.
I think it's really, really important. And like I say, just because they've not got scholarship doesn't mean it's the end of the road for them. The exposure of playing with different players, working under different coaches is going to go a long way towards navigating them to where they want to be. So from my perspective, if my son didn't get a scholarship, I'd be certainly pushing him into the foundation things in order to, just get the extra hours in, to get the extra education in, and look to develop on the back of that, really, to be fair. So, yeah, I think it's good that as a club that we do that, and we should be rightfully proud of that as well.
And that goes across girls as well. There's pathways for the girls as well, which is fantastic seeing. Always building the game, making rugby league bigger and stronger, and good luck to all those taking part in the pathway games that are coming up. I know the lads got playing over at Featherstone Lions against Featherstone players and Hull players, so great that Hull are coming over and supporting it, and there's enough players to field 3 teams for the Rhinos at certainly under 16 level, which is brilliant to see. We'll go to another question. We'll get an answer on this one. This one comes from Dan Lapworth, and he's asking about seats here at AMT Headley on a match day that he wants to get, and we went to our head of customer experience, Sean Jones, for an answer on that one. This next question came in on email from Dan Lapworth, and Dan asked, due to work commitments, I can't commit to a season ticket. However, I try to get to as many games as possible at AMT Headley. When trying to purchase tickets in the seating areas of the ground, it constantly shows very limited seats available or completely unavailable. However, on match day, there seems to always be lots of seats unoccupied where I would like to have purchased. Frustrating. Why is this? Well, that's a question from Dan, and we put it to our head of customer experience, Sean Jones. Sean, a regular contributor to the Q&A edition. Sean, how in terms of Dan's comments there, what's your reaction?
Absolutely agree with you. Sometimes, Dan, it is really frustrating because in our world, obviously, we report regularly on how busy fixtures are, and seats do sell out really quickly now. This season, we've seen a real surge in people purchasing tickets early, purchasing seats early. Ultimately, season members take up the majority of our seated areas, and what happens is obviously people commit because of the great value of our season memberships. They do obviously purchase them and then admit sometimes there's games that they can't attend. One of the beauties of a season membership that you can actually put your seat up for buyback if you cannot attend a fixture. And what we do is then you'll notify the club, we'll put your seat back available for somebody else to purchase, take advantage of those great views. And in addition to that, we provide a little bit of match credit in return to say thank you really for putting that seat forward for somebody else to enjoy. So that is a really great benefit that we do have, which allows us the opportunity to put those back on for the likes of yourself, Dan, who can't commit to season memberships, which of course we totally respect and understand. I think one of the other options that you've got is on a match day, we do have the ticket office open inside the ground next to the club shop, what we call the transfer windows. If you come to that area, occasionally there will be either returns on the day, or there might be, I don't know, say some seats that have become available because people were unable to attend and they've not let us know till last minute. And actually you could have purchased a standing ticket, come to the transfer windows, and if we've got any seats available on match day, and you're able to just pay the small fee that's literally the price between a standing and a seated ticket, and that allows you the opportunity to be able to take advantage of any seats we may have. So that's not always an option. However, you know, those options do become available. We don't hold seats back for match day. We literally sell everything that we can and that is available to us for every match. And, so we're just really sorry you're disappointed, but hopefully that'll go a little bit of a way to help you understand it, but also to be able to understand the different ways that you could maybe come to us and get a seat in the future.
And Dan mentions there that he's unable to commit to a season-long membership, but we, as a club, we recognise that, don't we? Because we have 3 and 5 game flexi memberships that are available now and still fantastic value.
Absolutely. So it sort of came to light a few years ago, probably about 6 years ago. We brought out what we call the Flexi Pack. We worked out that, we had people that were attending 3 games or 5 games. So we put those packs together. What you're allowed there to do is you can buy in either a specific standing area or a specific seated stand, not in a specific seat. And then what you're able to do is contact us and we will allocate your 3 or 5 game credits to the games that you want to attend. So obviously that allows you to commit to a membership in some form, take advantage of some other benefits that are available, and it equally then will allow you to sort of commit to that position. One of the things we will say about seats, and just to sort of caveat that point, we can't guarantee those seats. However, we do provide a priority period before tickets go on sale at the start of the season, especially if you know what you can commit to game-wise and which games you want to attend. So yeah, it's a really big benefit. All information about memberships, benefits for season, flexi and supporter, all available at tickets.therhinos.co.uk.
Great answer there from Sean. Back on the Leeds Rhinos podcast, always happy to answer your questions, as all our staff are in the ticket office. If you call down, if you've got any problems, give us a shout. And don't forget, we have told you previously, make sure that you use our Rhinos number on a match day. You'll see it all around the stands. If there's any problems here, give us a text. Let us know what the problem is and let us sort it straight away. Don't go home disappointed. Let us help you enjoy the best possible night here at the Rhinos. We cannot wait for Good Friday when Huddersfield Giants are in town. It's our big family game. There's going to be so much going on. It's going to be a fantastic time here at the Rhinos. So get down there. Tickets are available now. It should be a really special day for everyone. We've got another question here, and I'll take this one from Senior LUFC on X. Why do we have to download another social media app to get updated for the women's game? You wouldn't do this for the men's, so why the women's? I just want to see updates from the team I support. Well, thanks for the question. Really appreciate it. I think what you're referring to there is our partnership with We Are 8, which is a fantastic company. They're actually investing money into our women's sport here at the Rhinos, both the netball and the women's team. You'll see their distinctive brand on the sleeve of the women's shirt. And it's great to have a social media company that wants to invest in sport, particularly in our women's sport. Certainly, I think I can guarantee you that Elon Musk and the guys over at Meta aren't going to put their money forward to support the sport and keep it going. So that's great, first off. We Are 8, if you've not been on it, download the app. It's perfectly free wherever you normally get your normal apps from. We Are 8. It's a yellow square with an 8 in the middle, and it's a really different way of doing things on social media. We spoke to the guys there. They're a really forward-thinking organisation. There's no bots on there. There's no algorithms. The people you follow are the people you see. There's also a chance to raise money for great causes or for yourself. There's options there where you choose what adverts you see, and that raises money and puts it into your wallet. So it's all upside there. The reason why we're putting our women's updates on We Are 8 is it's a partnership. And part of the reason was we've had some experiences, particularly since the likes of X and Meta have downgraded a lot of their security around the posts. We've had incidents where, quite frankly, we wouldn't want to put a lot of our information, particularly for our women athletes, onto those platforms on a regular basis. So what we're trying to do is provide a safe environment where they can post their information and continue to support the Rhinos. So that's why it's there. It's totally free. It's on the App Store, exactly how you would get any other app. You get it there. You don't need to pay anything to keep up to date, but that's where our updates will be for our women's team and also for our netball team throughout the season. Check it out. We think you'll enjoy it. We certainly do. They're a great company to work with. They make sure that they're keeping things safe online. They've got lots of inbuilt security on there, so it's a safe environment where a lot of the toxicity and the rubbish that we're forced to wade through on other social platforms isn't there. So that's why we do it. I hope that answers your question. We have a couple of questions at the weekend. It is new. It is change. We understand that change is difficult sometimes for people, but that's why we're doing it. It's for a good reason, and they're supporting us, so we support them. So that's why we're on We Are 8. I hope that answered your question, Senior LUFC. We talked about scholarship there, Mark. Obviously, it's a bit of a truncated season, the scholarship. It's more about development and things like that. For those who don't know, talk us through what the year looks like for the scholarship, because it's a mixture of under 15s and under 16s.
Yeah, so within the scholarship program, it's classed as an under 16s program, but you get two cohorts. You get an under 15s and you get an under 16s, both comprising of about 20 players. Depending on the talent ID and things like that. Sometimes we can keep slots open for to go look at some games and bring people in at a later date, which we've done in the past. But those guys kind of, when they first come in, they stay with us for 2 years. So once they get into the second year, we start to think about whether they're able enough to move into the academy, by which time towards the RFL signing window, we can get those players in alongside the parents and speak to them about providing opportunities and working within the academy. With those that don't, obviously, we have those conversations. We put the names out to other clubs and stuff and let them know that they're available. But obviously, on the back of the Leeds Beckett thing, there's also probably a bit of an idea really around kind of trying to get them to, some of these guys, if they're thinking about higher education, trying to get them into the Beckett system. And again, we talked about the pathway earlier and how that can offer other opportunities outside of the professional game to get back into the professional game. So that's kind of how it kind of works and how it links. From a scholarship perspective, again, we have as launch nights roughly about the end of October. Our season roughly will go probably the last week in October, towards probably by the time you've wrapped up all the development plans and the meetings with parents, towards the back end of August. So straight away, it's a long old time. Within that, there's 8 games, which is not a lot. Like you said earlier on, it's all about the continual development of the individual. So making sure that they come training, they're on time, making sure that they're attentive, making sure that they're developing on and off the field as much as they can. When it comes to games, obviously, we'll share the workload out and make sure that players get the right amount of games in different positions to aid the development, because you don't really want to pigeonhole a 15-year-old kid in what position you think he can play. Some are easier than others. But with some of them, I think it's really important that you play them in different positions, play them on different edges, put them under different kinds of environments that stretch and test them a little bit outside the comfort zone. And then obviously, like we spoke about earlier, all the things about education and things like that. So there's a lot to get in within 4.5 hours a week. So it's really important you prioritize, the fundamental skill aspects, because, even though they might be at Leeds Rhinos, sometimes they might be great athletes, but from a coaching and a fundamental skill perspective, they may be quite low on the ladder. So I think initially when you get them in, you get those first month or so of training sessions, you throw a lot at them, see what they're good at, see what they need to work on, and then you'll form like a development plan for each player, and then you'll stick to that as you go out throughout the season. Right, this player needs to work on this needs to work on that, and then hopefully, certainly by the time the 2 years is up, we can give them that good news that they're moving into the academy, and like I say, Chev and the team take over from there, and they'll take their development plans, read them, see where they're at that moment in time when they come into the academy, and that's their starting point for moving forward. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do, and I can kind of compare it to being a school teacher at times, really, not only dealing with the players, but the parents as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's challenging, but it's enjoyable.
You're getting them through their GCSEs before Chev takes them to their A levels.
Yes, mate. Yeah. That's the plan. Hopefully.
Really good. And in terms of the players, the cohort we've got now, I know you're really pleased with the group we've got now in the scholarship.
Yeah, I think over the last four maybe 5 years, it's been really, really strong. We've always, historically, this club's been built on its junior development pathways and things. And from a scholarship perspective, I think we've always kind of pushed the numbers up. But it's good to see now that we've got so many players across all three teams, reserves, 18s, scholarship, that are all, that have got a lot of, I know Ryan don't like me to say potential, but yeah, they've all got potential in them to grow and to play Super League, whether that's at Leeds Rhinos or whether that's at another club. So yeah, it's looking strong at the moment.
I'm chuckling there. That one interview with Ryan Hall, everyone seems to have warned off for life the word potential. Yeah. But potentially we might use it again, Ryan. Yes. Don't worry about that. Just a couple of more questions that we'll answer here, and these are kind of looking towards the future. I'll take these ones. John Hodgson again. He asked, "Do Leeds support the continuation of the French club's participation in Super League and British RL League structures long term?" Well, I think that's referring to the ongoing review that's happening. I think we'll wait and see what that review pans out. What I can say historically is the club has been very supportive of French Rugby League. I remember going over to Perpignan to play at Stade Aimé Giral, the rugby union ground. We played London Broncos there the year before Catalans came in to try and help boost the sport over there. Obviously, in recent years, we've had Justin and Michael here from the French Rugby League internationals, and we've always been very supportive of French Rugby League. I think the decisions are going to be made by the review on that. What I would say is anything you read in the press, speculation about where things are going on that, I'd take it with a pinch of salt, because it's all up for discussion at the moment. But certainly historically here as a club, for those of you who don't know, the first ever French Rugby League training session took place here at AMT Headingley back in the 1930s when Joe Thompson, the former Leeds captain, he was a coach at that stage, brought over the first French tourists, and they learnt the rules of rugby league here on the pitch. That if you ever in the tunnel here at AMT Headingley, you'll see a picture of Joe Thompson with an interpreter explaining the rules to French Jean Garcia and the like over from France, learning rugby league. That had enough of rugby union and wanted to know this new code. So Leeds from the very forefront has been involved in French Rugby League, and I suspect in the years ahead we'll continue to support it. And then Josh Biggs, prolific questioner Josh Biggs, we'll get another one in from him. Is there a plan in place to start paying the Rhinos women's team full-time or part-time salary in the future? Well, Josh, we have an ongoing strategy for our women's team. We have a women's steering group that Ian Blease heads up, and that it's dealt with from the very top within our rugby department. We're fully on board with the RFL and their plans for women's rugby league. Tom Brindle's done a great job there, and we met with Tom recently to go through what their plans were long term for the women's game. I think as the sport grows, opportunities come. Obviously, if you don't know, Josh, we do pay our women match fees across the course of the season. One of the clubs that does do that because we want to reward their efforts and time. I think importantly, in terms of investment for the women's games, rather than salaries at this stage, what we do is we make sure that they have parity in terms of facilities, medical, the training ground, that they have the right pitches to train, that they've got all the correct gear that all the men's side have in terms of proper clothing from Oxon, who are great supporters on that. And of course, they play all their home games here at AMT Headingley across the Betfred Women's Super League, and that's really important to us in terms of how we work with our women's team, and that's where our investment is presently. If the game grows, if investment grows, then we will certainly move forward with that. But we're not quite there at the sport. What we don't want to do is damage the growth of the sport by investing in the wrong areas. It's been great this year. We've been able to bring in Mel across from Australia. I think Mel's going to have a great influence on the club. We're able to put a deal in place that can make that happen. That an arrangement that Mel can come and play over here, or other players. We work with those as well to make sure that they know that they're truly valued here at the Rhinos, and long may that continue. Just to wrap up then, Mark, just in terms of the future for the Rhinos and the development, you see some bright times there with the quality that we've got coming through at the club?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of fantastic kids in the system at this moment in time. There's a lot of people doing a lot of really good things, like historically there always has been at Leeds Rhinos. You know, Gary's been immensely supportive. Jamie will be, when the time comes. We're really lucky that we've got a club that and the people upstairs really support the junior development, and like I say, we've got a lot of people doing a lot of really good things, and I think the future's really bright. I really do.
Yeah, it's going to be some fun times ahead when Jonesy's chief executive and he's negotiating with Ian Blease over his son's new contract. We'll let them
deal with that. Yeah,
I mean, Law and Dax done a great job, haven't they, in the scholarship coming through into the academy. So we wish them all the very best. Well, good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
As you've explained, there's some busy times ahead, and you squeeze a few games in there. And good luck for the varsity game. We should be neutral because we support all Leeds students, but hopefully Leeds Beckett can continue that unbeaten season.
Fingers crossed. Thank you very much.
Can't wait to join us on Monday. We'll be reviewing Thursday night's game at Salford. Hopefully another victory for the team. Our women are in action this weekend down at Sheffield as they continue their Betfred Women's Challenge Cup campaign. Had a great win against Lee last weekend, and hopefully they can keep that going this weekend. And we'll have a reflection on that on Monday as well. Don't forget to review, give us a 5-star review, give us some comments, and make sure you share and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all our podcasts when they come out, and keep up to date with all things Leeds Rhinos throughout the course of the season. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.